Again before you again, another meeting, another important meeting. I just pray that your wisdom would be granted to us to know how to make the decisions that would best benefit the people of this county. And we honor you in all that we do. We ask your blessings on this meeting. We ask for your protection on all of our men that are out working. And we just ask that everything we would do would glorify and honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you guys would hold on 1 second, I had to call in that I think sorry about that. Item 4, any citizen desiring to be heard, we have one. Is it David?
Yes, sir.
David, if you'd like to come up, whatever.
I'll just
You
stand
can
here.
sit there, I don't care how you do it.
I can, expand my voice a bit. Gentlemen, pleasure to meet you. I know Charlie, and I'm here just to give you some information I think would be of interest to you if you haven't heard about it. Back about a year ago, the President of the United States passed an executive order called Tackling the Climate Crisis at Home and Abroad. And there's a provision in this that is very concerning. It's called the 30 by 30 agenda. I don't know if you've heard about it. If you have, that's great. But I've got information here for you. Custer County has already signed, their county commissioners have signed a resolution opposing the federal government's involvement. And I'd just like to submit that to you along with information that you can consider and perhaps putting one of these forth as well. And I've got all the information here. I've included a flash drive with all the documents as well. And would just appreciate your willingness to take a look at it, consider it on the agenda. If you need further information, there's two very competent people that you could have come and give you advisement. One is Angel Cushing out of Kansas, who I met when she spoke up at Rogers County back in April. And she explained a lot of this information. Then a lady named Julian Romanello, who's a former professor from Tulsa University. And they've got great information that could be useful to you as well.
David, do you have a copy for each of us?
I don't. I got the drive and I didn't know. I thought I'd give it to you, Charlie.
Okay.
And I mean, if you want me to, I'll go make copies again and bring them back over.
We can make copies, so.
But,
I did hit up another county commissioner in another county,
Thank you.
and that's close by us, and he showed me an email where he had reached out on 30 by 30 to his congressional member, which lives out in the western part of the state, and he said
We won't mention Frank's name here, will we?
no, he said there's nothing to it, and I told that commissioner there is something to it.
Well, there's a document in here. It's a copy of a paper that was put out last year. They're now looking to corridor every state west of Oklahoma, that they're going to literally confiscate more land and make it into a corridor to protect the wolves and beavers, and give this as an excuse to take land away from the people. And this is going on. And so I think, the point is, governments are meant to secure our rights, and we've got to do whatever we can do to make sure that we make the statement loud and clear that what you're doing in confiscation is not acceptable.
And we get enough beavers.
Yeah, we got them.
They're a problem for us.
Appreciate
This
it.
is a little bit along the lines of that magazine I gave you to read a while back, and I have more information on this too, so.
I'd be more than happy to pass a resolution on my side, and I'm speaking one of three. And
Well, take a look at it. It's pretty obvious what it's talking about, and there's a lot of supporting documentation there that can be of use to you.
All right, David, anything else?
That's it, sir.
All right, thank you. Item 5, consideration of possible action on the minutes for September 15th and 25, 23.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for September 15th and 25th.
I second the motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. 6, discussion with integrated HVAC regarding the upgrades to the heat and air systems of the county buildings.
So, after taking their representatives around to all of our barns and the fairgrounds, I'd asked them to have this by today. Turns out they're in a conference out of state today, so they couldn't come today. We'll have to reschedule it for another time. So.
Alrighty, so no discussion on item 8 or 6. Item 7, discussion with Tanya Ratcliffe Northgate regarding sponsorship for opiate grant pursuant to SO 30.5 political subdivision opiate abatement grant act. You're up, Tanya.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning.
I'm Tanya Ratcliffe. I'm Philanthropy Principal Marketing and Communications for
Do you need,
Northcare.
do you need a podium?
No, sir. I'm good if that's all right with you guys. I wanted to seek so basically a letter of approval from the Logan County Commissioners in regards to Northcare being able to apply for opioid abatement money specifically for Logan County. Right now, what's happening is what we're looking at or what we're seeing is roughly 3,100 or 8% of adults that are likely experiencing substance abuse issues within our county. 194 individuals received actual state-assisted treatment in 2021 for substance use. And it's estimated that roughly 3,000 individuals in Logan County are in need of basically substance abuse treatment and not actually able to receive it. So what we actually did is we actually opened up an urgent care clinic right here in Guthrie. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but where Mercy Hospital is, Northcare actually has a 24/7 urgent care crisis center. So what this is for any age, any stage, anyone that needs crisis response in our state. It doesn't matter on the ability to pay. Bottom line, we're here for all Logan County residents in any mental health crisis or in any throw of substance abuse issues or disorders. As the opioid abatement money and grant money is available, this is something obviously very near and dear to my heart. I actually testified on behalf of the state of Oklahoma in the opioid trial against Purdue Pharmaceuticals for the simple fact that I have 4 babies that were born exposed and addicted to opioids. So it's something that I have a very obviously big passion for. This is not something that is just over and done with after a baby stops withdrawing. This is a lifelong issue. It's a lifelong commitment. No one knows what the future looks like for these children, but at the end of the day, we all have to remember they were born addicts and against their will. This is an important piece. This is not something that is going to put any strain on Logan County as a whole. We're simply looking for a letter of recommendation, and from that, then we are able to submit our actual grant to the Attorney General's office for approved funding of that opioid abatement money.
So if we was to do that, would we be the go through with this money?
So I'm not sure, because what I do know sounds a little different from what she's saying. So the state has created a committee to administer the payment from the state settlement fund. So the county got direct settlement, that's a separate deal. And they've asked, and in fact, agenda item, I think it's 13, anyway, it's at the end. They've asked for the political subdivisions that may be interested in receiving some of the state opioid money to submit a letter of intent. My questions became, were we to use it and then become a grantor to things like what she's proposing or not? We can't get those answers yet. I spoke with Chris Schroeder, who's kind of been the ACO go-between on this. So I spoke to him this week and said, we kind of need to know what our duties and responsibilities, because if we're going to be turned into a grantor administrator, that's a whole nother level of situation. He said they really don't know yet. What the first step was to get these letters to determine how many may be asking for funding, and then from there they're going to build their program. He said if we submit the letter of intent, we're not committed should, when it finally falls down, it be something more than we can handle. I don't know the answer, Monty, as to that we're finding ourselves in with what she's asking. I don't know if there's a direct link in correlation, or if what they're offering to facilities that she represents is direct to the state rather than through us. I don't have that information yet.
And I did reach out to the Attorney General's office, asked them to send a representative, and he respectfully declined at this time. They could not send one. I don't think they know exactly what all they're gonna do yet either. But I did explain to Mrs. Radcliffe that the board has been bitten before by sponsoring a grant, and now we own a bunch of property that we don't need.
That's why I'm asking. So.
Yeah.
Well, I do appreciate your passion, though. I wouldn't have a problem with it if you don't commit us to something that we gotta pick up the tab for.
Understood. And this is a little bit different. May I approach and?
Sure.
Okay.
This is informal.
Okay, wasn't sure. And I apologize, I did make 3 copies. That's just what the letter of intent would look like. These are just, this just shows you a little bit more about specifically what North Care is and what we do. And this was a notice of intent to issue funding, just so you guys will have that. This is not about a building or build. This is about services and support, which we have for 42 years been supplying the state of Oklahoma and beyond. So, you know, again, we see 10,000 unique individuals every single year. Roughly $26 million a year is what we run every year as far as serving our state.
Now, if you're 24 hours, are you located in the emergency room there?
It's actually a building next to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so and
Okay.
it's 24/7.
Okay.
We're actually building an additional crisis center in Edmond. So we actually signed an agreement with the city of Edmond for a $1 million a year grant for 4 years, which brings on therapists and every other, you know, position you can imagine regarding
Yep.
mental health and substance abuse.
What you're proposing is, what North Care is proposing is actually getting these people addicted to opioids help, regardless of their age,
Doesn't matter, yeah.
to basically to get unaddicted, right?
That's correct. And not only that, but it's the mental health component also that stems with substance abuse, which we see that correlates obviously hand in hand. So if we can get obviously the mental health component and have that mental health change and have that disorder something that we can, you know, take care of and work through, then we will see more than likely that substance abuse issue will also tend to work itself out.
So what a percentage of people that go through your treatment are able to be free from this? And what about recidivist? I'm having a hard time with the word right now.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you talking for Logan County or as a whole?
No, as a
Okay.
whole.
I can get you specifically those numbers. What we were looking at, and, you know, also in regards to all of this was the suicide rate for Logan County also. So we were dealing with its highest in Logan County for men 45 to 54. I guess there were 32 deaths per 100,000 population, and 16, and it's basically white men that are ages 45 to 54. And with that, you see a very large substance abuse issue there also. And then also 9 veterans in Logan County also took their lives.
Now
Over what period of time are we talking about?
This was over 1 year in 2021.
Okay.
You may not know, and the sheriff's office may not know either, but is there a big, does North Care do the treatment?
Yes.
Do they outsource
No,
that?
100%. It is North Care.
Is there a component that could be built in where the judges have, or is it maybe a question for the judges, where when judges sentence someone?
We already have that court appointed, yeah. So you have court ordered care, court ordered treatment, yes. So we're a CCBHC, we're one of, I think it is 5 in the state of Oklahoma. And so you have those diversion programs that are through Oklahoma County Court. Judge Duell obviously knows North Care very well. And so there's so many different pieces of North Care. I mean, we have 17 very unique programs, you know, some for women, some for men, veteran diversion, SOS, urgent care, you name it. So every age and every stage of mental health or substance abuse needs.
I don't remember if this was before Charlie, but we actually talked about, and of course the county didn't receive enough money, but we briefly talked about it when we received that opioid money, about if there ought to be a way to get these people long-term care, to get them off
Correct.
this stuff. Instead of waking them back up in the field, I mean, that's important too.
Yeah.
So all of your funding comes from the opioid settlement fund, correct?
100% of our money does not, sir. So we have state and federal funding.
Okay.
And then we also have some private grants as well.
Okay, so.
This
but-
specific
But
part-
some of it does come from that fund? That
Well,
settlement fund?
no, that's what we're asking for.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
And the deadline, if they moved it, it was today, right?
Yes,
But now
correct.
they moved it to the end of next month. So if we were to sponsor, then we need to take action in the next meeting or two so she can.
It's actually,
No, I don't think that's correct, Mark. The deadline for the county to submit its intent to participate in the overall program
it's next week.
was today and has been extended. Application deadlines, plans, things like, we don't have any of that yet.
Right.
So.
Nor do we have resources to develop.
But that, yeah, so, you know, the state is just really, from my understanding, what we're dealing with right now is the county saying, yes, we're interested, because they've got $23 million available. Part of the letter of intent was to identify the population of the county. So I think what this state committee is gonna do is look at how many letters of intent they get, how it divides among population, and try to roughly guess how much each application would be eligible to receive. Once they have that, then I think it will become, now apply with what you would be likely to use your portion for. We don't know what the portion is yet, that's what they're trying to determine.
Is North Care faith-based?
No, sir.
I don't mind.
No, we're not a faith-based 501c3, and that's what I mean by that. I'm not going to tell you that there aren't individuals, obviously, who pray within our organization, but on paper, we are not a faith-based 501c3.
Well, I don't think the board would have an issue, I just think we're a little early, you know, we'd like to know
No, understood.
what we're signing up for.
Yes. And so the letter of recommendation is what we come asking for, just that you would recommend us to actually apply for this money.
Yeah. Well, when we get further down the road, I wouldn't be opposed to, if it's not tying us into maybe having to pay this back like we did.
A little bit too much unknown, I think, for our
Yeah.
responsibility on this.
And we can do the same. So what we did with Edmond, for that $1 million for 4 years, we signed an MOU. So we're happy to put a contract into place with you stating that you would have no liability for any of this. That's exactly what we did with the city of Edmond. And it's a little bit different just because we are a 42-year-old organization that has been in this
We would
business for
probably want,
years.
if we have to be the pass-through for the grant money, we would probably want that from any
Absolutely.
organization that wants to serve the public. But I think what the liability issues we need is from the opioid abatement board on what is our.
What is our role? I mean, we
Yeah.
definitely.
And we won't know that until a letter of intent or a letter of recommendation is
And I think
submitted.
the other thing to be considered, because we don't know what the dollar is, we don't know what the parameters is. It may be something that the county would look at 3 or 4 participants, you know, type thing. We don't know because we don't even know how much money we might be eligible for, so.
Now, my understanding is, us putting this on the agenda to actually approve a recommendation does not commit us to following through. Even if they say, yeah, we're ready to give you $23 million, we don't have to accept that. We can back off if it is not.
You have me put this on for discussion only, no action.
But that's what I meant.
Oh,
Next
okay.
meeting,
Down the
next
road.
meeting.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think we'd probably be on board as long as we're not liable for
Okay.
anything, so when we learn what we're dealing with, we'll
Well,
deal
that's
with
what
it.
I meant. I think this step that she brought, and I had to put on discussion only so we could learn about it.
Right.
I think this step does not obligate us.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, we still can say, wait a minute, we gotta get out of there. We're just recommending that this group get funded. And now,
We apply, not you.
Right.
We just need a recommendation letter.
so from your understanding, North Care would be the one that's dealing with the Attorney General's office.
That is correct. That's my understanding.
So you would receive the funds directly.
That is our understanding. Now, again, this is very fluid. Again,
Again,
but-
we have nothing, I've not seen anything, and when I reached out, those questions couldn't be answered.
Well,
Yeah, if Chris doesn't know, I think that's problematic.
Yeah.
let's ask Jeremiah and make sure that we're not on the hook just by signing this, and if we're not, then let's put it on
We don't want to disappoint you today.
No, I understand.
So, yeah.
I will say that I know that and I will verify it again with them, but I think the date for the letter, or for the letter of recommendation to be submitted, I think they moved that maybe to the 10th. Is that what you understood?
So the letter of intent was today, they've moved it, which I would assume would push every other
Correct.
down. So, and hopefully we can get some more information just to kind of find out what our role exactly is and what's expected and how it would work. Here's where I'm going to question. I find it interesting, so my disconnect right now, the piece I'm missing, is if we have to sign a letter of intent as a political subdivision to be eligible for a piece of this 23 million, then why would they deal with her directly? Why would we have to say, no, we want a piece of the money? Unless they're just saying so that they can identify per county who, see where I'm kind of have a couple of missing
Well, I think
puzzles.
she's just looking for a letter of support, so then.
This is just a recommendation.
Right,
This-
right.
Yeah, we
This-
write the letter of intent.
So, I don't have an issue with it, and obviously it's not on here for approval today, so we'll check into it and we'll do it as soon as we can.
Perfect. I do appreciate it. And you guys have a copy of what that looks like?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Do you need that in a editable version I can email to you? Would that be helpful?
Need what?
That letter?
No, I have
recommendation?
this letter.
Yeah, I didn't know if you needed it in an email.
No, I
You do?
have,
Okay,
I have completed our copy of it. Yeah, no, I have it.
Okay, perfect. Anything else?
Miss Cole, by law, and she's the secretary to the Board of County Commissioners
Okay.
when we're setting in, and so everything will go through her anyway, so as long as she has it.
Perfect.
Yep, we're good.
So great. Are you my point of contact going forward?
That'd be great.
Is that okay?
If that's what the board asked.
You're like, great, I got the short stick, huh?
She always needs a little extra to do.
Yes, that's perfectly fine.
Wonderful.
See,
I do
I
appreciate
can't
it.
discuss, or they can't discuss with me. We can't discuss unless we're
Amongst
here about
ourselves,
something
unless-
like this.
yeah.
She can talk to all three of us, not at the same time.
Okay.
And
I can filter the information. So if you have things that you would like them to know or see, send it to me and we can distribute. And any of the drawn up of forms and stuff will start with me.
Perfect. Okay. I do appreciate everyone's time. Thank
Thank
you.
you for coming.
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you so much.
Did you have any other questions for us?
No, I think I'm good. I appreciate you very, very much. And I'll get more information to you, Ms. Cole,
Okay.
and then my communication with the Attorney
Okay.
General.
And I'm Troy.
Oh, Troy. Okay, very nice. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Item 8, consideration of possible action on professional service agreement with ESL Health Literacy Teacher utilizing CDBC block grant for a maximum of $1,500 for the period of October 1st, 2023 to June 30th of 2024 for the health
It's
department.
for the health department. They received this grant and they are utilizing it with ESL Health Literacy.
What do you say? You guys like it? Not like it?
2 pages to your agenda.
No.
Mona, you have 2 pages to your agenda. I'll make a motion to approve and to enter into agreement with professional service agreement. And then make sure she knows.
Second.
Hmm.
Is that Nicole back there?
Mhm.
Can you give it to her when she wants it?
I apologize, I know what I did wrong.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion there.
Monty beats to it.
Oh, okay.
So I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I apologize, guys. I thought we ought to have 2 pages.
Yeah. I didn't think so.
Yeah, you did. Paychecks are on the second page.
My guys sure want that second page. Item 9, consideration of possible action on a resolution establishing the intersection of Forest Hills and Indian Meridian as a 4-way stop.
Really dangerous intersection. Move we approve this.
I would like to point out that Forest Hills, on some sides, has 2 R's, and on some sides it doesn't. And this one only has 1. But I don't know the legal, whether they have it listed as 2 separate Forest Hills or not.
And it shows up that way throughout everything. One way it's spelled one way, and one way it's spelled another.
Back when I
You
took
just run
office,
my ignorance plea.
well, back when I took office at Broadway, Forest Hills had 2 R's. At Sooner, it had 1 R, so. But I'll make a motion, did you?
I made the motion.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any more discussion about Forest Hills? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, the motion carries. Item, if y'all don't mind, I'll combine 10 and 11, it's really the same. But consideration of possible action on resolution accepting $13,200 donation from Chisholm Creek, and item 11 is the same thing, but from the people at $31,800.
Now, on the resolution, it is itemized who gave what.
So, yeah, what I did is I did a separate resolution for the HOA's part. And then the resolution for each of the residents, I went in and sheeted these out, so every individual is listed.
And then I'll get a copy of that and make that available for the ones that want that for their receipt.
So the second donation was for $31,800 from the people. I'll move we approve.
I'll second it.
I'm gonna vote aye on this one.
We got a motion,
Are
and a
you
second.
really?
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye on item 10 and 11.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, the motion carries. 12, consideration.
When is this handed to me?
This is part
It is.
2.
Okay.
Well, you need to sign it.
Okay.
I didn't sign it.
So there's one.
Okay. I'll bring it back to you tomorrow.
Item 12, consideration of possible action on agreement with Purple Wave Auction for sale of surplus equipment for the sheriff's office. I'll make a motion, we approve.
Wait a minute, now, is he splitting the proceeds of that auction with the commissioners
No,
for
just
roads?
one commissioner.
Just
Put an
one?
S on
The proceeds of this, if my memory's right, goes back into the account to purchase whatever piece of equipment, right? Well, I'll second your motion if you'd
There's
like.
something wrong with that system.
it. Got a motion and a second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Just
Yeah, it'll just be the chairman on
Item 14, consideration of possible action on approving Wings of Hope Family Crisis Services displaying
this.
silhouettes. Well, let me finish this one, then we'll go back. Silhouettes and information in the courthouse pertaining to domestic violence and awareness.
Wings of Hope is a family crisis service. They actually office over here, and October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and they are asking permission to put up some information in the courthouse relative to that. So they came and asked for approval, asked if we would send this to you all to approve that. they-
Are these like cardboard displays?
I think so, yeah.
I'm good with it on the civil side. Are the judges on board with the judicial side?
Well, in all honesty, the courthouse belongs to this board, so, I mean, me to, but I think that's why they directly, and they do this at the Payne County Courthouse also, so I can't imagine the judiciary has any issue with it.
I'll move we approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, any further discussion, Mark? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, the motion carries. We need to sign it or not?
No.
All right, we'll go back to 13, consideration of possible action to acknowledge receipt of Logan County Treasurer statutory report from the state auditor and inspector.
So we did this one, which was last fiscal year, and they immediately doubled back for the current fiscal year on the treasurer. I emailed you all the report. There was no exceptions noted. I just need the board to acknowledge that they have received it.
I'll make a motion that we acknowledge we have received the Logan County Treasurer statutory report from the state auditor inspector. And I might as well, while I'm doing it, make the note that there was no findings.
I will second Mark's motion. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, the motion carries. Item 15, consideration of possible action on a letter to the Oklahoma Opiate Abatement Board of Logan County's intent to submit an opiate abatement grant award application.
This item's back to what we were previously discussing. This is just that letter of intent. It requires the designated rep as the chairman of the board, and that we identify in the letter the treasurer. Again, I think that money is going to filter straight to us, or they wouldn't need the treasurer's information. And then the request that we submit the population and where we got that number. I just went straight to the 2020 census, which was 49,555. And it just requires the chairman's signature on the letter.
So with this money, we've already received money from the opiate settlement. So with this money, does that go in the same pool? And can we say we wanted to donate or give money to North Point?
It's going to be a separate
Care.
fund. We're not going to be able to mingle the two. They will be considered separate.
Or North Care is what I
Yeah.
meant.
And that's what I'm saying. We don't know the rules yet. There's specific statute in Title 74 was created for this money. It mandated the committee be formed and that it be used for opioid abatement, essentially. There's several points there.
Well, even if we are the pass-through, I think as long as we get with our DA and we have agreement built with protections in it, I think we would still protect the county with those, but
I think the issue, Mark, at least where I'm looking at it, when we don't know how much we're getting in that specific, depending on what they tell us the real parameters are, we may want to open an application process and be able to service 2 or 3 different groups. We may only have enough money to say, well, you know, we only get $10,000, and that's not enough to spread out. We'll take out, but you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think the commitment to one company, while they do great work, may be something we want to hold off until we know
There may
exactly.
be several others that do the same thing and maybe even have
Exactly.
a higher success rate.
You know, so I think there's just so many unknowns right now.
and like I said, the AG's office respectfully declined to come. Because I don't think they know either. I don't think they have it set up
don't.
completely. But I would hate to miss a deadline for even a third party if they were to receive some money without us or with us. And so that's why I was looking at that thing for maybe a future meeting here in the next couple of weeks. And I don't prefer any one over another.
Mhm.
Anybody who can help that.
How do you go about choosing it? If we're the pass-through, how do you choose what company you're gonna give the money to, unless you do an application time, you want to receive? But anyway, if we do receive these funds, I mean, we've already got so many funds,
But they'll be separate.
it'll be separate funds. Alrighty.
You need a motion on that?
I
Please.
do.
I'll make a motion that we send a letter to the Oklahoma Opioid Abatement Board for Logan County's intent to submit an opioid abatement grant award application.
I'll second, yeah.
Charlie seconds. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. 16, consideration of possible action on resolution.
None on that one. I do on 17.
We have no action on 16. Item 17, consideration of possible action on resolution appointing receiving officers for various accounts.
I have receiving for the health department and for OSU extension.
Chris, did you get a donut?
No, yeah, I'm waiting for the next item, then I'll know the own up there.
You want to know the amount of money, right, for Meridian or whatever it is?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion, we appoint receiving officers for these accounts.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Item 18, consideration of possible action on consent agenda items.
Start with payroll.
He said he wasn't getting cinnamon rolls ever again.
You're leaving one chocolate, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, good.
You're not gonna need no
$95,
camera
he's got too
service.
much money.
Cinnamon rolls?
I don't know, yeah, he's going. I bought some last Christmas and took, I got 2 dozen cinnamon rolls and they were nice.
Yeah.
But they were good.
They were good, yeah, they were good.
Well worth it.
I never bought 24 before.
Bobby eating already?
Nah, I bet
Didn't even get, say thanks to him.
he just stepped out.
You can't get ready and ready.
I think he's trying to find some wins for OSU football.
Well, they're not playing this weekend.
He got a chance.
To win, yeah. I better be quiet. I'm being watched on there. I get in trouble enough by making smart aleck comments, picking fights over OSU when they're playing.
Mobile office.
I know.
I will say one thing. Oklahoma State Cowboys are the absolute best football team that Stillwater, Oklahoma has.
Pioneers are winning pretty big right now.
That's a safe thing to say.
The high school team's pretty good.
That's what I was thinking.
You know, I went to school with, he came when we were in 6th grade and sat next to me. I was in school with Jimmy Johnson's son, youngest son, Chad. He was a good guy. He's a decent human being. He was a good kid.
He's back.
Chris wanted to know why you didn't bring cinnamon rolls.
He did fine one.
$47 a pop.
Good point.
2 of them. You only got 1 dozen, right?
1 dozen, $47 and change.
Must not be a big item on the agenda today.
Yeah, there's no pay item on there for me.
I didn't get a PO.
See, what we ought to do is talk over Chris Schroeder and several dozen for one of those ACO meetings.
They should sign him up.
One of those legislative breakfasts that he has down there. He can get those legislators addicted to those things.
That's an important thing.
Yes, yeah, I told him that was being watched.
Mm-hmm. watch, you just never know who's watching you.
That's true. Or what they're gonna take, not in this case, but out of context or.
And the DA's on. They have court scheduled for Monday, but they canceled it. Well,
My mother watches sometimes, I do know that. She gives me motherly advice on how to appear.
You gotta start paying attention to
I'll have her call you.
My wife's only watched one time, that's when she caught me eating that chocolate every donut. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It was sugar free though.
I can text your wife and tell her you had one today if you like.
No, that's all right. You haven't seen me have one yet.
Well, I didn't say I say I saw you have one. There's donuts and there's Charlie. You let her do the math.
Boy, Charlie, he's getting to you on your bridge.
I'm telling you. I'm just glad I didn't have to buy the whole load of them.
These transfers.
Blankets. And election board secretary salary claim. Alcoholic beverage tax.
Here it comes, Chris.
23-4.
Say it again.
23-4.
23-4, man, you're way off. $21,006.71.
I was thinking July, 4th of July, maybe 21 what?
$21,006.
21,600. It's in the 20,000s every month now, so that's good.
See, the system's broken. You get a tax for selling alcoholic beverages, and then you got the sheriff's office going around arresting people for partaking in alcoholic beverages.
No. We're taking too much of it, is what it is. So.
And that will conclude consent agenda.
When the ponds turn over out here at Guthrie, beer prices go up. You can't drink the water.
I make the motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second Charlie's motion. I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. 19, consideration and possible action on claims for payment for September 2023. I can really put mine on top.
Ask Lucy, she's pulls those.
I'm lost here.
Just out of compliance. We just mentioned that first sheet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna initial that.
Okay.
That one's mine, by the way.
D3.
This will be D2 though. Another one. And Mark ain't getting off either. There we go.
Couldn't imagine the sheriff's office being in there though. Oh.
My people didn't sign over there. I'll sign.
Troy, did Damon tell you that they're gonna be parking that boom lift in the lot over at y'all's place.
Oh, man.
Well,
What? Or do you want it?
they're delivering any moment.
Still working on it,
Sheriff's?
But damn it, it
So we
said,
can keep an eye on it?
yeah, so it's not just left out the street.
Yeah, okay.
Where's the sheriff today?
I was at a meeting somewhere out of state, I'm not sure.
Out of state?
Yes.
He's on the National Sheriff's Association.
He's on
Board member.
vacation.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I have to leave your presence. Private meeting.
Bobby's good seeing you.
Do what?
Did you need one of us?
No, sir. I just wanted to be here today, your presence.
I was afraid you'd left and I hadn't been able to thank you for bringing the donuts. Whether I partake or not, appreciate it when you.
Nobody's noted you.
Yeah.
Did you have one?
No, I haven't had time. I
Okay, we'll leave it there.
got here a little tight here.
We'll leave it there. But if you need anything, give me a call.
All righty, Bobby, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll be good for you in a little bit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good
Bye,
weekend.
Troy.
See you.
Have a good one.
You too.
Keep these guys in check.
Impossible task.
I know Feinstein died this morning.
Yeah.
Yes. You'll be seeing senatorship before you know it.
Oh, man, we're gonna have a big week-long to-do on the TV about probably laying in state and under.
Some people thought she was great.
Well, it's a nursing home up there, might as well be a funeral home too.
Well, I got so much I could say.
Don't do it, Mark's always watching.
She may or may not be, I don't know.
We'll have a post-game show afterwards.
I don't know much about that politics stuff.
Sure.
I'd entertain a motion on the claims.
Well, I'll make a motion on the claim, we should approve.
I'll second
I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
it. Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Item 20, consideration of possible action on purchase card payment for September 2023.
We letting Troy spend a lot of money again.
Hang on a minute, my eyes are watering. $4,862.34. I'm sure she needs some new chairs.
That's about the size of my credit card bill each month.
Covers the gas.
I gotta make that look like a signature instead of initial.
I'll make a motion, we approve the purchase card payment.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Good job, Troy.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 21, comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners or other county officers and department heads. Stephen, you got anything for us?
No, sir.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Under Sheriff Mr. Troy
Let me
Dykes.
ask Stephen a question here. Stephen, how are we on this, developing this plan for our abatement, fire abatement plan?
Mitigation.
Oh, the
Mitigation.
community wildfire protection plan?
Yes.
Well, wait till we get some of our funding from that to see if forestry will help us write it, but
Okay.
everything's on hold because FEMA has no money.
So is that, isn't there a deadline on that?
Well, there was we did the notice of intent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they took all the FEMA money and went to Maui.
I've given a lot of thought to what that might look like, and I'd sure like to
I did
bounce
get-
some of that off of somebody that knows what it's supposed to look like.
I did get some copies from another county whenever forestry helped write theirs to kind of
Mm-hmm.
look at it and see how theirs was. So
Mhm.
it's the same outline, just, different areas.
Mhm. If you got a copy of that, I'd sure like to see it.
Okay, yeah, I'll forward it to you.
Because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and some of this stuff I think about,
Yeah,
so, okay.
Mr. Troy Dykes, you got anything for us?
Everything is well.
Awesome. That's the way we like it.
How's the deputy that was hurt in that accident?
He's in good spirits. Resting and recovering. He came up and saw us the other day. So he's walking, talking, and he still has a sense of humor and is in good spirits.
Well, I saw someone posted on Facebook looking for the identity of the woman that helped. And have you found that?
I don't believe so. He talked about the nurse that was there but didn't know her name, and he's still looking for it as well.
Well, try to give you some screen time on that information.
All right, Nicole, you got anything?
I do not.
You liking the job so far?
So far.
Awesome. Troy?
No, I will reach out, because I don't know if you all may receive some phone calls. It's a different grant program. So I've had 2 calls this week. I forwarded you an email regarding broadband.
Mhm.
And so the state's ARPA funds are being released towards broadband, which was one of the parameters of that program. And I've had now, my second company has reached out wanting letters of support. I have an item on for Tuesday, for the Monday's meeting. I think that that's another situation that we might consider a blanket letter that says, you know what, we support the expansion of broadband to anyone that wants to provide it, rather than maybe singling out
And a particular one.
companies. I spoke to a lady yesterday who called me on behalf of one company, and that's kind of, and I told her, I said, I'm not bored, I can just tell you my personal opinion, but I think that we live in a capitalist society and competition is good, and whoever can provide the service is fantastic, and we'd love to see it expanded, but I don't know that we should pick and choose
Winners and
companies.
losers, huh?
And so that situation is on the next agenda. If you receive any phone calls, that is what it's about, is they plan to apply to the state for state ARPA funding to expand broadband. And so that's just kind of
I
a
know
touch
there's a
base.
big movement to make it available to
Everybody.
almost everyone, yeah,
The
over a 5-year period of time.
dependence on it has become critical. If you don't have good internet, you're not doing business, you're not, it really is a need. And I think from the call I got yesterday, depending on your power company, some of the power companies are getting involved in expanding, and because we have the co-ops and OG&E and that, they're carving out around some communities. I think some communities are worried they're gonna get left out.
I think Pioneer has cash enough and running.
If you don't have internet, you got peace, hope, joy.
But anyway, if you receive if you get direct calls, like I said, I've had 2 this week, that's what they're wanting support for.
I'm with you, Mommy.
That's the truth. Mark, you got anything for us?
Ignorance is bliss sometimes until all of a sudden it's over with,
I've talked enough. I don't think anything new came out.
All right, Charlie.
Well, let me
you're
get my
up.
list out here.
You're out.
I actually don't have anything today,
Right.
so.
So the only thing I got is, I don't have them, but I already got the soil samples back on Prairie Grove,
Okay.
so, poor conditions is what it comes back, but I'll.
Did that surprise you?
No, but
Okay.
when I get it, I'll give him to share it with you as well.
Okay,
So,
okay.
The only other
And
thing
that
I
was,
got.
Ira that did that? Yeah.
He didn't do it, but he hardly can't make the.
Okay.
I mean, I just went through him.
He lives in my district. so.
Yeah, his, our emergency management guy approached me about buying a cargo trailer, and I told him I'd have to visit with the board, so he'd like to store all this tents and everything they take out on scenes when they go, and he thought it'd be handy if he had everything in a cargo trailer. So the only thing he'll do is hook onto it and go, so I told him I'd visit with the board, we can't make a decision today, and I told him, I said, well, Steve, we just went to a budget meeting the other day, but anyway.
Where was he?
He was sitting back in the back room eating a donut. Anyway, we'll keep discussing that, Steve, we just can't make no decisions today, I just wanted the board to know it, so that's all I got.
Probably ended up being a vaccination trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. Little foul. Anything else, fellas, ladies? Item 22, consideration of possible action on adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We'll